Breaking news, a federal judge in Seattle just blocked Donald Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship. Judge Kogenhauer, if I'm pronouncing it right, he's a Ronald Reagan appointee, scolded the government attorneys, telling them, quote, "I've been on the bench for over 4 decades. I can't remember another case where the question presented is as clear as this one. This is a blatantly constitutional order." So, we'll see where this goes. On the line with us is Jim Stewartson. He's the co-host of the Radicalized Truth Survives podcast and writes the mind-war.com Substack, which if you don't subscribe to it, I strongly recommend. He's also on Truth Social as Jim-Stewartson, dot all that stuff, BSKY.social. Jim, welcome back to the program. You were writing about this. Actually, your article is "Soft on Crime: The Rule of QAnon," and the U.S. Attorney for Washington D.C. and along with Mike Flynn and some of these other QAnon people. What's the story here? What's going on?
Well, in the midst of all of the chaos and intentional sort of drama that's going on, a lot of these sort of lower down replacements are happening without much fanfare. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to point out, some of the more dangerous ones, even if it's just by example. Ed Martin is a Christo-fascist lunatic. Let's just put it out there. If you look in his bio, it says right now, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, and then right below that is phyllisschlafly.com. Ed Martin is basically the face of Phyllis Schlafly's legacy. And if people don't know who that woman is, she's one of the most dangerous and anti-democratic figures, in my opinion, in American history.
She used to be all over the media.
What's that?
And she used to be all over the media, and in the first 10 years or so that I was doing this program, at least once a year, she would come on this program and debate me.
That's fascinating, because, Ed Martin is her, disciple.
Interesting. So with the Eagle Forum, she had this thing called the Eagle Forum. And she was the lead opponent to the Equal Rights Amendment. I mean, Phyllis Schlafly is the reason why the Equal Rights Amendment didn't get through ratification on time.
And also Phyllis Schlafly was largely responsible for the birth of the pro-life movement.
Yes.
Right? The anti-abortion movement.
Yeah, she was fanatically anti-abortion.
And one of the interesting things about that is her partner, one of her best friends, was Helen Flynn, Mike Flynn's mom.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, they were dear friends. And Mike Flynn used to get dragged to Phyllis Schlafly's events. So
that's what happened.
And Helen would say it's forced family fun, that according to Mike Flynn. Mm-hmm. At any rate, so these people are connected very deeply. Also, Mike Flynn has a nonprofit. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, called America's Future. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that it's named America's Future because it was named by Phyllis Schlafly's good friend Jack Singlaub in 1946. Because Jack Singlaub, who is a strident anti-communist, basically felt that the wrong side won World War II. Yeah. And so he started... Really. And he started America's Future, which was one of the main sort of mouthpieces for Phyllis Schlafly for decades.
Mike Flynn has taken this over, or he's reinvented it?
Has taken it over. So briefly, here's the story about how that happened. Singlaub, at 98 years old, Singlaub was a co-founder of the CIA. That's how old that dude is. At 98 years old, in 2020, he wrote a letter from America's Future to Bill Barr saying, please, can you drop the charges on the patriot Mike Flynn? And then in May of 2020, Bill Barr did.
Now, is he still alive, Singlaub?
No, he
Oh,
died at 100 years old in 2021.
wow, amazing.
So Singlab was one of the main actors in Iran-Contra, right?
Hmm.
He was one of the people in Central America working for Reagan, doing deals for drugs and guns and all of that stuff. And the person, as I'm sure you know, who helped cover up Iran-Contra was Bill Barr.
Yeah. Well, the Christmas Eve massacre, I mean, that was December 24th, 1992, as George Herbert Walker Bush had lost the election and was going to have to leave office in 3 weeks. And the Iran-Contra investigation, I mean, they'd already nailed 5 people, including Weinberger.
You bet.
And it was Bill Barr who was the Attorney General at the time, and he advised George Herbert Walker Bush. I've written several pieces about this over at Hartmann Report, lengthy pieces with lots of links and all kinds of stuff. He advised George Herbert Walker Bush to pardon all of them in order to shut down the investigation, because the investigation would have shown that the Reagan campaign was working with the Iranians to screw Jimmy Carter. And that was the end of the Iran-Contra investigation. Not to mention, using the money from the Iranians, selling the Iranians weapons to buy guns and ship them down to Central America.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So Singlab was in the middle of all of that.
Wow.
And at the time, Mike Flynn was a young officer in Central America, running psychological warfare operations and assisting Singlab. He brags about it.
Wow.
Yeah. So all of this goes way back, is the point.
Yeah.
But as we move to closer to the future, right, or closer to the present, I should say, on just as an example, on October 28th, 2020. Ed Martin went on Twitter and quote tweeted Mike Flynn with WWG1WGA.
Where we go one, we go all. This is the
Exactly.
slogan of QAnon.
That is the QAnon slogan.
Yeah, he's usually, from what I can see on his Twitter account, he's usually posting, Christian messages. But he also just refused to drop charges against 2 of the January 6th defendants for not showing up in court. This was just in today's news.
Yeah, I saw that. I'd be interested to see, where that goes. But
So, now that he's the official prosecutor for D.C., I mean, maybe he's going to get more mainstream, you think?
No. Look at his Twitter feed now. It's he's a lunatic. He is a crusader.
Yeah.
But one of the things that is really important to understand about this whole strain, right, is that a lot of it comes literally from the Crusades.
Yeah, I mean, look at Pete Hegseth, the tattoos on his chest.
Exactly. And there's a reason why Mike Flynn and Eric Prince and these guys are very, very passionate about Pete Hegseth. It's because he is part of this really ancient Christo-fascist crusader mentality that believes that, the one true church needs to take over the world.
Yeah. So
and he's part of it. I mean, a big frontline, speaker for it.
Yeah, I get it. We're talking with Jim Stewartson, by the way. He's the co-host of the Radicalized Truth Survives podcast and writes the mind-war.com Substack. Jim-Stewartson, Stewartson, over on Blue Sky. Jim, what is the status, and by the way, we're going to hit a hard break here that I have no control over in about 2.5 minutes. What's the status of QAnon right now?
Well, it just took over the government, basically.
How can you say that? I mean, it's Trump likes QAnon because they bring him votes, but he's not QAnon, is he?
Oh, I mean, no, Trump was retweeting QAnon within weeks of its formation. He was perfectly aware of it the entire time. There's a reason why so Ed Martin was not just a QAnon guy, but he literally helped create the insurrection on January 6th. he was there. His Eagle Forum was helping organize buses and all of that stuff. Like,
so he's running Eagle Forum now? Phyllis Schlafly's old organization? Or he's just affiliated with it?
No, he's the president of the Eagle Forum.
Oh, wow.
Or was until he became U.S. attorney for D.C.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, Kash Patel, for example, who is supposed to be the FBI director, and full disclosure, filed a lawsuit against me in Nevada, is an open, like, blatant QAnon promoter. Right. And is also one of Mike Flynn's, good friends, and is being pushed by QAnon and that entire side of things. So, where is QAnon now? And I'm being a little flip about QAnon taking over the government, but not really.
Yeah.
Like, these people, the whole Christo-fascist thing, the QAnon thing, and a lot of this neo-Nazi stuff that we're seeing, Elon Musk be very blatant about. These all have.
It's all kind of the same stuff. So has QAnon been growing in the last couple of years? I mean, I think most people's last recollection of them was, down in Dallas waiting for John Kennedy to show up. John Kennedy.
That's unfortunately just terrible reporting.
Yeah, I get it.
Because QAnon is not just these kooky people, doing kooky stuff. At this point, there are tens and tens and tens of millions of people who have absorbed that ideology and literally believe it.
Around the world.
Not in America.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And it's, even several years ago, it was up to, I think, 25% of people, had some belief in a democratic cabal that was, trying to take over, right?
Amazing.
And it has not gotten any better.
Jim, I'm out of time here. Check out the Radicalized Truth Survives podcast and mind-war.com for Jim's Substack. Jim, thanks a lot for dropping by.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Taking back the mainstream media 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.